Beyond.
Oh, Nix is going to love you.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Podcast Beyond, episode 90.
Woo.
We're into the next decade, or whatever you want to call it.
The 9-0.
Yeah, the 9-0. In the next group of
It's been
10s.
a long and wild ride.
Yes, it has. We're inching ever
we have,
closer to 100.
yeah.
Very soon.
We've got flannel and grunge music
Yep.
to look forward to.
Well,
It's gonna be a good time.
Not yet. There's another episode or two. Then we'll be into
that's
that.
true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and then by like episode 98, 99, we'll be listening to Backstreet Boys.
Yep. It'll be all boy bands all the time.
It'll be real nice. So we're running on a trio crew today. I am here. I'm Chris Roper. Ryan, what's going on?
Not much. C-Note.
Sam, what's happening?
Yo.
Greg is down in LA this week for a bunch of events. We'll be seeing scattered pre-E3 coverage leading up over the next few weeks and such to the show. E3 is June 2nd. Kicking off June 1st, actually, with the Microsoft conference.
coming
Sony's
up.
conference is on June 2nd at 11 a.m.
We're a month away.
Yeah, and Nintendo's is, I believe, 9 a.m., I think,
That's
on
correct.
the 2nd. So
Yep.
Sony will be last this year. Maybe they'll pull out the ace right at the end there.
It'd be nice.
Win
one more thing.
Win the whole thing on the river.
It's like the Steve Jobs. It's the Steve Jobs approach.
That's right.
Yeah.
They start walking off the stage and then come back and drop like a bombshell and just leave without even
What they should
holding
do is,
for
assuming
applause.
Steve Jobs goes back to Apple before and then he starts, whatever, is actually... No, because he'll probably come back. Anyway, if he was back, just have him do the keynote. He has nothing to
That'd
do
be
with Sony
amazing.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, here you go. Anyway, let's get right into the show with the Roper Report.
Time for some news.
So, Sarah, some pretty big news I'm going to hit at the end of this thing, but going over the smaller stuff, but all pretty good news. One is that in the UK, at least right now, Sony has announced a VidZone service, or I guess it's called VidZone, which will basically be music videos and things like that will be going up on the PlayStation Network. It'll get them in some fashion. So that seems kind of cool. There's no word yet on it coming outside of the UK, but I'm assuming that's going to be kind of a big E3 push for them, assuming that it's not just like a little tiny hobby, but I imagine that will get announced there.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a easy thing for them to bring over.
Yeah, there has been a teaser scattered around here and there that it sounds like on May 11th there'll be some sort of announcement. Sounds like it will be Thief 4 will be announced.
Ooh.
So we will see if that will be any good. Yesterday was Activision's financial results call. And now there are, if you count two kind of side things to it, 6 Guitar Hero games scheduled for this year. No less than 6. So
Can you go through them?
I will go
please?
through them.
Right.
So Guitar Hero Metallica came out March 24th, I think. That's
Okay.
already out. Guitar Hero Smash Hits is coming soon.
All right.
Then there's Guitar Hero 5, which will be coming later this year. There's now also Band Hero, which, from what the sound of it is, it's catered more to the casual audience.
Yeah, families.
I'm going to assume there's going to be like Hannah Montana and stuff like that in it.
Oh, man.
There is also DJ Hero, where you have a DJ instrument and you're like scratching records or whatever you're doing with that. And then lastly, Guitar Hero Van Halen. All of them, from
Coming
what we
this
can hear, coming this year.
Oh, man.
So-
I'm excited for DJ Hero because there's some artists that I dig for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Sounds
the
like
DJ
Oakenfold and Tiesto and a bunch of other.
Well, and at least it's different.
EDM.
The DJ
know?
games
Yeah,
I'm excited
exactly,
about.
exactly.
There was also, I know it went through a little trouble recently, but the Scratch the Ultimate DJ game also looked really neat too, although they were in some sort of legal battle or
there's
something,
lawsuits
right?
back and forth, yeah.
It did not sound good, but
Yeah.
And then, continuing on, THQ did the similar financials thing recently and confirmed SmackDown vs. Raw 2010.
Wow.
That's, big
I
surprise.
can't believe that.
And in a
said
kind of cool
surprise.
announcement is that a game called or at least from what we know now, WWE Online is on the way. The only other detail about this game whatsoever is that it's being created by an Asian studio. No confirmation on whether it's actually Yuke's or whatever it
Yeah.
is. But there's no platforms announced, nothing else. We don't know anything else about it. But we will just assume that it's going to be a PS3, 360 game, maybe also PC, and that you're going to play online That's
You're giggling over there. Like,
I'm
what's
laughing
going on?
because I imagined a crossover between WWE franchises with Maple Story. It'll be developed by a Korean
That would be
studio.
pretty rad.
That'd be
They'll all
incredible.
have like humongous eyes and little knives and little mushrooms will be hopping around.
I'll be microtransactions.
Yep,
50 cents to
microtransactions
get you a
galore.
wrestler outfit.
yeah.
Schoolgirl wrestler outfit.
Oh my god.
Terrifying.
Another kind of cool thing for Metal Gear Online fans is that there is a new patch coming out with some new kind of cool stuff. But the biggest thing that's coming in this, and this is going to be free, by the way,
Is trophies?
no. Is a new Patriot class. And basically what will happen is players will be randomly chosen to be a Patriot every week. So if you go online, you might wind up figuring out that you're going to be a Patriot for the week. Patriot gets a new gun. I don't remember what the name is offhand.
56 millimeter hand rifle.
Something.
Maybe.
But it has unlimited ammo, and you don't need to reload, I believe.
Holy
So basically,
Kriznap.
you will kill the hell out of everybody.
Yeah.
So if you become a Patriot, play as much as you can that week because that's where you're going to get all your
Seriously.
all your monies. So there you go.
All your monies.
All your monies.
The last piece of news I'm going to mention this week is a very sad one for a lot of people because, 3D Realms has closed.
I don't even really know about them because I haven't heard much
Duke
about
Nukem
them.
You
Forever.
were not a PC gamer.
Well, I know,
apparently.
I knew that.
Well,
But
here's
did
the
they
thing.
just work on the Duke Nukem franchise before
there
then?
there was also Prey.
Yeah.
Oh, Prey. Oh, I didn't know that they did Prey. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
but so
They didn't make it.
They didn't make it, but it was there. It was like it has Wolfenstein coming from Raven.
Okay.
That sort of thing. But last that I looked, I might be off by a year or two. I believe it's been 13 years in development
Yep.
for
I think
Duke
that sounds
Nukem
right.
Forever, and it sounds like it's never actually coming out now.
Yeah.
Which sucks because I wanted to see what 13 years
Me too.
of development would
Me
get
too.
you. I mean, you figure Half-Life 2 was 6 years or something like that, 5 or 6 years, and that game is amazing. So you double that, and then what are you going to get?
Maybe they couldn't release it
far
because the level of awesomeness would just cause everything to implode.
That could be it. So what we're hearing, and none of this has been, or it is confirmed that the studio is closing. Basically, not saying yes they're closed, but saying these things don't affect other, like the Duke Nukem trilogy is still coming, that sort of thing.
That's right. Yeah.
But people that not officially from Take-Two are saying it's closed. But anyway, for what it sounds like is that Take-Two. And again, this isn't 100%, but what it sounds like is Take-Two has the publishing rights to Duke Nukem Forever, while 3D Realms, which would be like George Broussard and a couple other guys, Scott Miller,
yeah.
own the approval rights on its shipping. So basically, even if Take-Two had the IP, which I don't think they do, I think it's still 3D
No, it's
Realms.
it's
it's 3D
theirs.
Realms. Basically, the only company that can publish Duke Nukem Forever is
Is Take-Two.
Take-Two. But Take-Two won't fund it anymore. So even if Microsoft or whatever bought these guys, they couldn't release it because Take-Two had to do it. Yeah. Take-Two can't call another game Duke Nukem Forever
Because 3D Realms has
because
the name.
3D Realms has to be able to approve it.
And they won't be around to do that.
And they
so.
they sure as hell won't.
No.
So there was a rumor. I don't know if this was true, but that 3D Realms went and said we need another $5 million to finish the game. Take-Two said no, we're not going to give it to you, but we will buy the license back from you for $30 million or whatever.
Yeah.
And they said screw that, we're just going to close up. Which I think in some fashion is honorable because you figured, well, they just don't want the game to be ruined and they would rather have it not released. But at the same time, the thing that kind of sucks is once I heard that they were closing, I was like, man, maybe in the next day or two we'll just see the game come out and be open source and people can finish it and just release it on the PC, which would be rad. Except that now that would cause crazy legal problems.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah.
So
It'd get
we'll
tracked
see.
down eventually, but to whoever released it.
Yeah.
And brave little here that they would get sued into
Yeah.
oblivion.
So unless something,
Yeah, exactly. Mwah, portal would open up behind them and suck them in.
Giant spiders.
One piece at a time. Oh God, no.
unless something massive changes, Duke Nukem Forever is never coming out.
That is a shame because,
Yeah.
and even 3D Realms going away because I like those guys.
Yeah.
Good memories with like 3D Realms and Apogee and all those early
Yeah.
PC things. Well,
Yeah.
not early, but yeah.
Right. So there you go.
And that's the
Down they
end
go.
of that.
Now, Ryan,
Yes.
so Duke Nukem Forever is not coming out.
it is not. It seems not to be the
I don't
case.
think that even if it was coming out, it would have come out this week.
Or it could have, and
But it
blown us
could
all
have.
away.
But, Ryan, can you tell us what other games came out this week?
I can tell you. You want to know why I can
Why
tell
is
you?
that?
Why?
Because, like always, I have the official IGN list of upcoming PlayStation software on all 3 platforms by the IGN editors. And here is the list. Nothing.
Awesome.
Wait, that's the PS3 list. What's the PSP list?
Nothing.
What about PS2?
Nothing.
Damn Damn it.
However, there are downloadable games coming out,
Let's
but
hear it.
as far as I can tell, well, let's get to that when we get to our Blognac report.
Oh, wow.
Unless we're instantly
We're in the Blognac
transitioning.
report right
Wow,
now.
it just
God,
happened.
we're
It
here.
just
It just
happened.
happened.
Oh,
Wow.
God. Wow, it was fast. All right, so
Bamf.
today, coming straight from Zombie Blognac, we have Puzzle Quest Galactus comes out today.
Finally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lots of Disgaea add-ons. The Little Big Planet Norse pack, Norse mythology or something of that nature.
There you go.
The Buzz, it's another Buzz Quiz TV add-on pack. Savage Moon demo, which I found interesting because that game's been released for quite some time
Sure
now.
has.
A weird time for a demo. A Wolverine demo. Patapon 2 is now available, I believe, on the PlayStation Store. Is this correct?
It was available last Thursday.
it was last week?
I believe so, yes.
This is late.
Oh, no.
Blognac.
Yeah, I believe it went up last week.
Also, Pursuit Force
Sweet.
will be available for download now
That
off
game's
the
awesome.
PlayStation Store. And here's a little tidbit that some of you readers are going to be pretty excited about. Is everybody ready for this?
I'm ready.
I'm sitting down now.
The floodgates are open, Roper. The PlayStation 1 classics are coming. Yep. So today there's 3, I think, PlayStation 1 games coming out. But
The onslaught is coming. Prepare yourself. You can't. It's too late. Oh, there's 3.
Three
Well,
of
okay.
them.
There's 3 times more than 0
That
games
is
coming out for the PS1.
And it's
So-
all coming out in one day as opposed to the one we got maybe 4 months ago or
Yeah.
something crazy. But anyway, 2 of those classics is Spyro 2 and R-Type Delta. I
sweet.
didn't get a chance to see what the third one would be. And also Blogneck informs me that next week there's going to be more PS1 titles, meaning that this might be the signal that it's going to be more readily happening on the store.
That
which is
does
nice.
seem to be the chatter.
Yes.
The chatter does
The chatter-
point. Signs point to yes.
Oh man! So pick of the week. I got to say that the only new game that can be chosen really is Puzzle Quest Galactus.
Yeah.
And I remember Damon liking that in his original review of
Yeah.
the 360
No,
version.
it's not a bad choice. So
There you
there we
go.
go.
Yeah.
Puzzle Quest Galactus. Pick of
Yeah.
the week by default.
Pick of the week.
I
There
haven't
you go.
played it, but
There you go.
Pick of the week. Pick of the week.
Now,
Pick of the week.
unless anybody has anything to add, I'm going to skip over to trophy tips for the week.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
Yeah. Okay. So going on to topic of the week, Ryan, why don't you introduce this since you recorded this morning?
Yes, a very exciting segment.
And I have not heard it, by the way, so hopefully it's not bad.
I've
it's
heard
bad.
it. It is terrible.
It's bad because I'm in it. So I was very fortunate to sit down with a bunch of people from Nipponichi Software America, which is NIS, more commonly referred to.
or
I think it means-
Nisa, if you're...
Yes, or NISA.
down with
I
the
think doesn't Nipponichi mean number 1?
Yes.
All right. So anyway, that was completely irrelevant. But a bunch of folks came in to talk about Holy Invasion of Privacy, Bad Man. What did I do to deserve this?
Yes.
A PSP game that no one knows anything about. So I think at the very least, readers will be and / listeners will be interested in hearing about this. So I have 2 members of the localization team as well as 2 people from NIS PR all sitting down with me, chatting about this game and answering silly questions that have absolutely no relevance to the game. So there's a little
Did you
bit.
ask them
there's
if
a-
Batman is in the game? Because that would be awesome.
That would be incredible.
Fought Batman.
That's why the game got
Wait.
delayed. That's why Batman got delayed, was just to put him in.
I don't think Batman is in the game.
Oh.
No, I think
Fine.
that you will see the meaning of the title in this interview.
We will wait. We're going to see it.
You'll hear
So
it.
wait, the podcast is transforming into a visual representation of what we're saying. now.
Actually, yeah, I lied. So when you listen to it, it'll beam this code into your brain.
Cool.
And it'll actually form images in your
That's
eyes that only you can see.
That's some pretty cutting edge stuff right there.
Yeah, it's very cutting edge technology.
Oh.
That's what we roll here
IGN,
at IGN.
leading the charge.
All right. Well, let's listen to it.
Here we go.
Woo!
Welcome, everybody. This is, as you know, Ryan Clements from the IGN PlayStation team. I'm joined by some very incredible people here from NIS. First, I will introduce, I guess, Jack, sitting to my left, Jack Nita.
Hello, thank you for having us here today.
You're
We're pretty
welcome.
excited with some of the stuff we got. Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. We're excited as well. Now, Zook, also a PR person with NIS. Would you like to say a few words to start us off?
Hello.
Okay.
Thank you
I guess
so
that was
much.
it.
Yeah.
And then, I guess the men of the hour here today are Steve Carlton. You work on the localization efforts with NIS. What is your official title?
My official title is editor for the localization department.
Okay, cool. And then we have Ryuta Sato.
Hi.
Did I pronounce that correctly?
Ryuta Sato, yes.
All right, perfect. And what is your job
I'm
at NS?
translator and a coordinator.
Very cool. What does the coordination part mean?
Coordination, basically I contact with the Japanese licensors and I make sure everything is, going well.
Okay,
And
cool.
yeah.
To sort of facilitate the communication between the
Yeah, sort
U.S.
of.
offices and the Japanese offices
Yes.
also, I
Yeah.
imagine?
Mhm.
All right, very cool. Well, thank you very much, guys. I'm sure all our listeners know, we are here to talk about Holy Invasion of Privacy Bad Man. What did I do to deserve this? That's the full title. All right, I didn't even have to look at anything. I pulled that all out of my mind. So I guess I will start by asking about the title. So this is, I think all of our listeners will understand that this is a pretty long title, but it's also sort of equivalent to how the Japanese and how they like to take quirky approaches to gaming sometimes. So maybe, why don't you talk about that with us?
Well, when we decided to come up with the title, we knew we needed something that would be funny for the American audience and would kind of bring out the wackiness of the Japanese title into the American audience.
Okay, cool.
And so we were coming up with different things, and we thought that the whole Robin's Holy whatever Batman
That would make a good
would
title.
make a good title.
Okay.
So then we started playing around with, well, what should the Holy blank part be?
Okay.
And so we were coming up with different options, and then when we found this one, we knew that this was what it had to be.
Very nice. So mainly you just wanted to make this as quirky as possible,
Yes.
and that's how it all turned out. All right, very cool. Well, I guess I think a lot of our listeners don't really know much about the game in general. So, why don't you all just take a crack at what this game is all about, and I guess more specifically how the gameplay works. If you gentlemen want to start us off, just tell us, in brief.
Okay. Well, the gameplay, you're pretty much you're the god of destruction who is summoned.
That's a good start.
You were summoned by Overlord Badman.
Okay.
In order to protect him from these heroes that always come into his kingdom and raid, trying to kill all these monsters and take all the treasure from him.
All right, so you're actually playing a villain, I guess you could say.
Yes.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
well,
you're helping
on the,
a villain.
You're on
Yeah.
the villain side.
All right, cool.
And your primary job is to create this dungeon that'll have an ecosystem where stronger monsters can thrive so that they'll better protect Batman from these heroes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very
so
cool.
you defend the overlord from hypocrite Yushas. Yeah,
Okay.
Yusha meaning heroes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so
Very cool. Now, is this a part of the gameplay where the Overlord is actually present on the maps? Because it's like a 2D interface, right?
Right.
And there's sort of tunnels being drawn throughout the screen and stuff. So is the Overlord actually present on the map, and you have to sort of set up a defense around him, or is it just more you have to eliminate a certain number of monsters? How does that work?
He is on the map, and you get
Okay.
to place him wherever you want in the dungeon.
Oh, okay, cool.
And the hero's job is to find him and then drag him back up to the surface so that they can put him on trial.
Okay. So they can put him on trial. Yeah. What are his crimes? Why is he being tried? Yeah.
It's not really specific, but
Okay, fair enough. So, all right. Well, then, what is the story behind this? The Badman, he seems like every screenshot I've seen, all his dialogue seems pretty funny. So, is he just sort of a comic relief sort of villain, or he doesn't seem like too bad of a guy?
because he loves to talk about as if he's all this really powerful and he can destroy everybody.
Uh-huh.
But in actuality, he won't do anything, and he won't even save himself.
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
why he got you to save him
won't
for
even
him.
save himself. Doesn't even have a survival mechanism. Okay, so what? So how does the actual interface work? So just tell us about the controls.
For the controls, you pretty much you show up as a pickaxe,
Okay,
and
you're a disembodied pickaxe.
Yeah.
Very nice.
and pretty much you go over these blocks of soil and you dig them out, and each time you press the square button, you'll dig that tunnel and it'll clear a path
Okay.
And sometimes monsters will come out of those blocks, or sometimes it'll just clear the path for them.
And monsters are your allies in this game, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the only enemies you have are the heroes then?
Yes.
That are trying to tunnel through and collect gold and do all the heroic things that we usually do in RPGs?
Yes.
Okay. Very cool. I guess I'm going to get to a few reader questions then. The few that we have, because our readers did not come through for us this time. Start out with a joke one, which Jack read, and spoiled the surprise, by the way, before this recording. He wants to know, let's see, who actually said this? I don't actually know, but one of our readers asked, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Does anyone have a official response from NIS?
I believe it'd be about 5 blocks.
5 blocks of wood, Ryuta?
Yeah.
About 5 blocks?
5
All
blocks.
right.
Yeah.
Thanks for sending in a serious question, readers. So let's see. Big Boss X Hunter asked, how long does it take you to beat it? So, what is the total gameplay length you guys are shooting for?
Like in times, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, about how long it would take to go from start to finish, if there is a start to finish.
If you never fail, then probably within an hour or so.
You could beat the game within an hour.
If you never fail.
If I never fail.
Yeah,
It's
What is the likelihood
If you
of never failing?
95%. No, more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So of failing, basically.
Of
you're saying.
failing, yeah,
Okay.
of course, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So you have like a 1% chance or so.
Maybe less. Yeah.
Okay. Like a 0.5% chance of
extremely
beating it
hard,
in an hour.
yeah.
Okay. So would you say then that this is for hardcore gamers, or would you say that it just has a lot of challenge?
I think I would say like both. Like
Okay.
hardcore players can enjoy this game, of course.
Like
and
how so?
also,
So like what appeals to hardcore
Appeals.
players? Yeah.
can
I think
answer that question.
the appeal for this game mostly is for hardcore gamers. There's a lot of in-jokes based on old games and
Okay,
old
cool.
TV shows.
And that's something that NIS does quite a bit with their games.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
reference things a lot and make it sort of self-aware, which I appreciate, by the way. So yeah, keep going. I'm sorry.
And so pretty much a lot of the appeal for this game is all these references.
Cool.
And spotting like, oh, I know what this one's from, or like, oh, I might not know this one. But so the more hardcore gamer you are, the more you'll probably be able to spot these references.
Okay, cool. Jack, you were sort of raising your hand.
Yeah, and for gameplay-wise, some of the appeal for the hardcore gamers, there's no one set rule on how to beat the stage. So you want to sort of find out and figure out your own method of creating your own little ecosystem and the various monsters and the creatures. So you could tackle on like a different hero and a different strategy, and basically just trying out different ways. And there's no perfect dungeon.
Okay.
You have to always tackle from a different angle. So I guess finding out those different methods is one of the appeal of the game.
Okay, cool. So ultimately, you would say that this game is sort of like a dungeon sim / a little bit of a puzzler because you're
Yeah.
trying to solve things, and it's all real time, correct? Like all
It's
this
all
stuff is
real time.
happening. Okay, in real time. How long does a stage usually last?
Like less than 1 minute
Okay.
to more than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
that
like,
is
it
a range.
really varies.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
depending on the stage.
What happens is you're given a pretty short time to set up your dungeon real quick
Okay.
with a certain stat point, and then
And then
once
heroes
that,
start, rushing in?
So you have
Okay.
to hurry up and just try to come up with the best dungeon as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yes, now. Oh, I'm so excited. You have something to contribute.
And also, this is a game that could also appeal to light gamers because
Okay.
like Jack said, there's no one set rule or no strategy. Like you have to do this or that.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're really new to gaming, industry or gaming experience, it's really easy to get into.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
because
cool.
the rule itself is really really simple. So I think almost anybody can actually enjoy this game.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, and I'm assuming you're not penalized too much for losing. Like you just start over at the same stage, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't actually reset you to the beginning of the game.
Actually, in the story mode, once you die, you have to start over.
From the very, very
From the
beginning.
very beginning. Like,
Oh,
there
well,
are-
that's not good. That completely counters my point I
Yeah,
just
but
made.
the training mode, yeah, you can,
Okay.
start.
So there is a training mode.
There's
yeah.
training
It's
and
probably good.
challenge
Yeah, and a
modes.
challenge mode, yeah.
Okay, cool. Is there any multiplayer or anything? It's all just single player, right?
Well, you
Yeah,
can.
single.
there is sort of like a multiplayer aspect to it.
Okay.
Where you can create your actually own heroes, and then you can give them to your friends and have them challenge their dungeons.
You can create the enemies for your buddies to play against.
Yeah,
that's pretty
exactly.
cool. I can't think of any other game that does something like that, so that's neat. That's a good selling point. You should put it on the back of the box. So let's see. Bodyguard 380, it's a pretty cool name, asks, will there be a demo for this game? It looks pretty amusing, and he or she wants to try it out.
Yeah, it's coming out soon.
Really? Excellent.
Yeah, it's this month.
Okay, awesome.
And
Hopefully you're allowed to tell us that,
Yeah.
right? Cool. And I'm assuming it's free, right?
Yeah, it's free.
I know. Simmer8596 asks, will I be scared to show this game to my friends? So I think to clarify, some NIS games can be pretty fan service filled, I think is a safe term to say, right? I mean, this doesn't seem like it's that bad.
No, actually, considering how the graphics are very retro styled, there's nothing inappropriate about it other than
Some of the language. perhaps? Okay.
But most of it, is very family oriented.
Okay,
almost.
very cool.
Almost.
Fun for the
Except for a few stages, but
Okay. One of our listeners, which once again got cut off, asks, if you could be any animal, what color gummy bear could you be? Which is not really a good question, but I'm going to ask it anyway because it's entertaining.
well, I personally, Steve, would be the blue kind of gummy bear.
The blue kind of gummy bear? Rita, do you even eat gummy bears?
Blue, but I would say a silver gummy bear.
Oh man, do silver gummy
Silver?
bears exist? Sounds like some sort of mythical creation. If one ever finds the silver gummy bear.
I think they're
they'll
made
be-
out of mercury.
Yeah.
That would probably be also poisonous in this. All right, let's actually move on to a serious question. Why So Devious, which is a great name, by the way, says NISA for the win. So that's a compliment to you guys. This is more of a general question about NISA titles, but are there any plans for any other type of DLC for NISA titles besides characters for like Disgaea 3 and equipment costumes like for Cross Edge? Any chance of getting extra stages or areas for Disgaea 3 like in Prinny on the PSP, or I'm assuming also for Badman? DLC options.
Actually, yeah, for Disgaea 3, we're going to be having new extra story chapters where Raspberry, one of the girls, is the main character.
Oh, cool.
So we will be having some of these new downloadable contents, and for our future releases, we will definitely have like more different kinds of contents available.
Nice.
So you could probably look forward to them.
Okay, and that's kind of like in the PSP version of the first Disgaea. I think you could play as Etna, right? In like an alternate
Yeah.
story mode.
Yeah,
Okay, is it going to
exactly.
be sort of similar to that, where you take on like a new little mini story that's
Yeah.
tied into the main one?
exactly,
All right,
exactly.
cool. Let's see, what else does Why So Devious ask? Have you ever considered a multiplayer component to your strategy RPGs? This is a more general question about NIS titles. Multiplayer.
Wow, that's
What do you guys think?
Well, we did have multiplayer in Disgaea PSP and DS.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something that our dev team always wants to try to put it in, but it's actually pretty tough.
Oh, yeah, I
considering
imagine.
all the programming and they have to change a lot of things. So we can't include it in all of our games, but we're gonna try to include it in some of our future releases.
Okay. Then I guess the last question I will ask is releasing some editing tools to create our own stages.
That's actually a really good question.
I've stumped
Building a
the
stage.
team.
Batman? Yeah, Batman, you can build your own stage.
That's
for
kind of like that's almost like
edit
the
mode.
premise, right?
Yeah,
Is
for
like creating a
edit
dungeon.
mode, you can do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about in like the other NIS titles though?
For like Disgaea
Yeah,
series.
like in Disgaea 3, like to build your own stage to fight on. That would be pretty cool.
I don't think our dev team ever thought of that, so I'll definitely pitch that over. It sounds
Yeah,
pretty exciting,
that's-
actually.
So one of our readers actually thought of something that
Yeah.
the dev team did not. Awesome. Well, I guess let's finish on a note of any advice or tips or just comments to the fans?
Yeah, the original game, the Yusha no Kuseni Namaikida, that's the Japanese title of it.
That's even that's shorter than the English one.
Yeah.
What is there? I'm actually curious, real quick, if I may interrupt for a second. What is the direct translation of that? Because I'm assuming you guys tweaked it a little bit for the English version, right?
Yeah.
So is there a very direct, messy English version of that
you
title?
little annoying. You are the only. Annoying little hero or something like that.
That's awesome.
It's actually a quote from a very famous Japanese manga called Doraemon.
Oh yeah, I've heard
in
of that
Doraemon,
before. It's a quote from a manga. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's a character called Giant. He's a big bully, and he always says, Nobita no kuseni namaikida, and then Nobita is one of the main characters of Doraemon, and it's a very famous line. So it's like a.
It's a potent reference.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah. When we decided the English title, I wanted to. I wanted Steve to quote from very famous American manga, American comics. So,
cool.
Yeah, that's why.
Now it all comes
yeah.
See, there you go. Cool.
Yeah, and it had lots of retro jokes. Like quotes from Japanese games and Japanese old school games and manga.
Cool.
So I wanted to use some American equivalent, like American comics and American movies and stuff like that. But my limit in American pop culture was so limited, so I could put only so many quotes and jokes, and the rest is all Steve's job.
I'm sure it turned out fine.
Yeah.
Steve, do you have any messages for the NIS fans out there?
My message to them would be thanks for all the support that you've been giving us over these past few years, and please just appreciate how difficult some of these jobs are.
I feel like that was also a comment to the reviewers who don't appreciate you guys enough. But I do. I definitely recognize it. Jack, and now I want you guys to chime in too.
I just wanted to say thanks to everybody, and we'll try to make even more crazy, twisted games. So just please look forward to them, and it should be another exciting year for us.
Awesome. Now, any parting words?
I'd like to thank everyone who is supporting us, and then I think the reason why we can do this crazy game, naming the title, wholly invasion of privacy, Batman. That's because there's so many people that's been supporting, NISA style.
Cool.
Localizing the game and making the title and stuff. So I really so excited about this game because that's almost coming from our fans, and then that's why we could do this.
Cool.
And I don't know, if maybe any other game company might not be able to name this kind of name because that's just too long or too crazy.
It was. I have to. Here's a fun little note. It was almost too long for us to put into our actual database system. Capped off the character limit. My database manager was like, "Oh, what am I going to do with this one?" All right. Well,
so I just want to thank everybody.
Great. Well, I'm sure the fans definitely appreciate your guys' hard work. I myself am excited about this game just because I am a huge fan of quirky Japanese games. That's sort of my beat on the IGN team. And I'm going to end with one final question specifically for Steve. You're wearing an Etna shirt, which is pretty cool. How do you get that?
Actually, I believe we have them for sale on rosencoin.com.
Awesome. And that's the sort of NIS-related store, right?
Yes.
Oh my god, that's great. I didn't even see that.
And that one has zipper.
Mine too.
Oh, that one is amazing. So Ryuta has a T-shirt that has a bunch of printies on the path to destruction with genocide. That's fantastic. Well, thank you guys very much again.
Thank you.
Really appreciate all your time. And back to the podcast.
That was awesome.
Wow, you weren't kidding.
I still haven't listened to it, but I think it's great.
All I heard was
once again, thank you to the NIS people for coming in. A lot of good times.
Yes.
Good people.
Ryan, do you know what it's time for? Actually, no, I don't want you to answer this. Sam, do you know what it's time for?
I don't know what time it is. What time?
Ryan, do you know what it's time for?
I think I have an idea if we're going in the order that we usually go in.
What is it then? Wait, let's have the reader shout it out.
Oh,
On
yeah.
3, shout out what time it is.
Here we go. Ready?
1, 2, 3.
No, that's wrong. God.
It's time for some reader mail.
We're on number 90 now. You guys can't get this.
Maelstrom.
Mail.
Yeah,
Malarkey.
mail nutrition.
Be
All right.
careful of male pattern baldness.
Yeah. Our first piece of mail comes from a longtime listener, writer-inner, 2779.
2779.
He said, what is the likelihood of Infamous having a downloadable island/items given the story?
Wait, what?
He wants to know the likelihood of Infamous DLC basically adding a new island or something.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
In regards to the story. I will just tell you that, let's see, if they add side missions, that would be fine. I will put it that way. It would work with side missions. Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, I'm
I
now
guess.
considering.
Actually, it would be possible to extend the story, but I think that side missions would be the most likely thing if it's going to happen. I think what would actually be kind of cool is because there are other characters in the game, is to have like you could come in and there's an extra area and you play as somebody else and do some other things.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not. They would have to be kind of inventive. There's nothing like if you say Half-Life 2, you could say you play as Alex or something.
Yeah.
And that makes more sense. Here, there would have to be a little more stuff that you.
Well,
you know.
do have an entire city. Well, not an entire city, but you have a city filled with people who somehow have powers now. So it would be possible to do sort of a little side story with someone else who's got to come into their own with abilities.
Yes, kind of.
Maybe.
That's not 100% true.
Okay.
Kind
Oh.
of.
Oh.
Kind of. It is sort
All
of. Anyway. But yeah. That's not.
No, he's just trying to keep it
that's not a spoiler whatsoever.
nebulous.
Anywho, HB Guy 311 says, "Do you expect a redesigned controller for the PlayStation 4?"
A redesigned controller.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it'll be tweaked in some fashion at least, the minimum.
I think it's probably going to be somewhat similar to the DualShock,
That's
though,
what
right?
I would guess.
It's like their trademark
Industry
now.
standard.
Yeah.
Well, it was at least until.
Yeah. Certainly.
Microsoft came
Certainly the X, square, circle, and triangles day.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
maybe,
I like that form
maybe they'll add L4, R4, L5, and R5.
I'm thinking
That'd be
about.
awesome. Just a bunch of stuff
I'm
bolted
thinking
onto the sides.
about tattooing the X, triangle, circle, and square onto my body somewhere. Here's a question for all you readers, real quick. Write in and tell me what I should get on my body tattooed.
Actually,
Ooh.
just say it right now. Just say it out. We can hear it.
That was a pretty good suggestion.
That is a good suggestion. That's
But
actually a
I
really
would
good
like
call.
to hear other suggestions. Include those with next week's questions. I'm curious to see what people think.
There we go. Let's see. Pyromaniac says, "What's up, my N-bombs?" Whatever that means.
Uh-oh.
Who do you think will have the most impactful, is that a word, E3 showing, and who do you think will have the absolute worst?
Oh, we can
Ooh.
answer that right now.
Speculation.
So
Yeah.
it's all complete speculation. I think Sony is going to have the best show, and I think it'll be by a fair margin.
Yes.
I think assuming that Sony does what we assume that it will, and kind of meanderings we've heard, I think it'll be kind of unquestionable that Sony has the best showing. I think it's possible that Nintendo will announce like a huge game, like a Zelda or Mario or something that will draw the most attention towards a single title. You know what I mean? But I think as overall, if you're especially if you're just talking press conferences, I think Sony's going to kill Microsoft and Nintendo. Yeah. As far as the weakest one, for me, I would say, again, Nintendo could have a big announcement, but I think everything outside of that will probably suck.
Yeah.
They could have an okay thing. I think Microsoft will be boring. But
Yeah,
we'll see.
it usually is. I mean, there's a couple little things here and there that are kind of fun, but
Yeah.
I will just say that if Nintendo's goes anything like last year's, it will be the worst press conference.
Nintendo's was the worst press conference
Probably
last year.
one of the most awkward, just weird,
That was
stupid
terrible.
press conferences.
I wanted that hour back so bad. I know I've said it before, but
I
man.
watched it even over streaming, and I felt the collective awkwardness of the entire audience filtering through my screen.
I had
Wii music
front
was
row
playing?
seats. I was right there,
Oh
right in
my
the front,
God.
and I just wanted to.
Of course, the guy playing the drums, so I'm sure he's a
Ravi
fine
drums.
drummer in real life, but Ravi drums, the gifs that have come out
Yeah.
of him playing have been hysterical.
I guess in that respect, even if Nintendo does have the worst one, they could end up having
They
some
could
of the
have
best.
awesome gifts.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. I think Sony is the stuff that they have prepped, or the potential that they have for a lot of big announcements on multiple platforms. Very, very good stuff.
Yeah.
So, and Microsoft is the big question mark, I think, right now, because nobody really knows what they have coming out toward the end of the year. So
I mean,
this is sort of the
Microsoft could come out and announce Halo 4.
Yep.
And almost assuredly they'll show Mass Effect 2. That's pretty much, that's almost
which is
guaranteed.
Great. Yep.
And there could be
Fable 6.
I mean, a new Forza will probably be shown, and so Microsoft could actually have a really strong showing.
I would think like maybe I would kind of hope that they do a redesign of the system. At this point, I think it would be really good for them to
One that doesn't break.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
So there you go.
No.
Channing writes in. He has two pretty good questions.
It's made of bamboo.
The first one says, how did publishers feel after PS2 backwards compatibility was phased out? The reason he asked is that Rockstar has made the first two Max Payne games available as part of the Xbox Originals program. While it's nice on a sheer principle just to have them available again, this also serves to publicize the upcoming Max Payne 3. Seems a natural fit for Beyond Good and Evil, Eco, Shadow of the Colossus, stuff like that. So backwards compatibility has nothing to do with, so far as I'm assuming, backwards compatibility has nothing to do with downloadable games.
No.
Sony could just,
They could custom build an emulator for it and have it running on there, no problem.
So really, that's not the issue there. I really do want to see downloadable PS2 games come in the PS3, especially if they're up. Apparently, if they're up, especially if they're up-res. Really, I think if Shadow of the Colossus gets shown off at E3, shown off at E3 as a downloadable PS2 title in 1080p, holy crap!
Yeah. I think to answer the guy's question, or yeah, I don't know. For publishers, it's fine. I mean, nothing really changed all that much as far as the hardware. There's still 180 gajillion PS2s out there, and that's who they were selling their games to.
Yeah.
So.
Part B, and I think this is a very interesting question, is he has been credentialed for E3 this June.
Oh.
He wants to know any tips or suggestions for a first-time attendee.
Hey, buddy.
Number one, the question is, are you just going to see stuff, or are you going to take appointments and actually try to work? If you try to work there, very bad things. If you're going to see stuff, number one, as soon as the show floor opens, I would recommend going in there and, first off, it's loud as hell and there's chaos everywhere. Try to figure out and actually read our site the day before. Go out there, look at forums, stuff like that. So what you want to do is figure out what the biggest booth thing is, and then probably go and get in that line first. Yep. So you get it while all the people are looking around, see what there is. You get in that line. I remember in 2003, I think, when Half-Life 2 was shown, that line was out the door. Yeah. And I mean, it was like a 2 or 3 hour wait, I think.
Oh, man, that was crazy. Oh, that's right, with the big booth at the,
Yeah, so if you go to this thing and Half-Life 3 is shown or something crazy, and there's actually like a demo, especially the stuff that's in the theater, like if they're showing off Final Fantasy 13 there and it's in a theater and you want to go see it, get in that line immediately. You could chance it by trying to do that as the very last thing you do, but then you might actually not make it into the show. Yeah. But no matter what you do, if you don't get in first, like at least plan out day 2 or 3 to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, going in with the game plan is always a good idea.
Yeah.
Look at the booths, look at the layouts, check out how it's all set up.
Besides that, I mean, just, go see whatever's there and, do whatever. One thing that I would say do not do is do not carry around a bunch of swag.
No.
You will look like an idiot.
I will punch you in the face.
There, at previous shows, one of them, somebody was handing out rafts. Like inflatable rafts.
It was Webzen. Yeah, I remember that. Yes, that was terrible.
They were like 6-foot rafts. Yep. And people were carrying these things around. At multiple years, people hand out inflatable swords. Yeah. A bunch of idiots are carrying these swords around the whole show. They stick out like a Thor thumb. It's clear they really have Thor thumb.
That was awesome. That was the
it's called a spoon.
I didn't know that actually even happened anymore.
Yeah. Thor thumb?
Yeah.
But so it's really bad. If you want to get a bunch of swag, what I would recommend doing is bringing an empty backpack.
Yeah.
So you can throw T-shirts and stuff like that in there if they're giving out. I know last year the show was pretty poor in terms of presentation. Where it was basically just games were sitting there, and I think the year before that though was the year before that was in Santa Monica.
In Santa Monica, yeah, exactly. So now
maybe the year before that. I remember anyway. In the past couple of years, there hasn't been that much swag. I think people kind of dialed that down. Maybe, who knows? Maybe it'll be coming back this year. But I would bring a backpack and throw your stuff in there so you don't look like a moron.
Yep.
Also, bring some surgical masks because everyone going to the E3 this year is going to get swine flu.
Yeah,
that's true.
I mean, people are going to have to be really careful. Like, I'm going to be washing my hands all the time. Yeah.
Get some little Purell or whatever.
Yeah, when you concentrate that many people in an enclosed space.
Dude, it's already bad enough as it is. There's just a bunch of, like, sweaty, nasty people manhandling controllers all the time. I'm really glad that the way they have it set up this year is kind of nice.
That's why I liked TGS, because there were these lovely, charming booth attendant women who would just, like, lovingly clean the controller after everyone was done using it. It was very nice.
Yeah. Now, here's one other quick note, just so that you kind of know what to expect. When you go to a booth, if a journalist comes by there, the PR people will give journalists the priority because they want them to be able to play the game and go right back and write about it, right? Yep. And like you just need to understand that like journalists are going to play a game for maybe 5 minutes and then move on or whatever. So if you're sitting there in line and PR dude comes over and say I show up and the guy just hands me the controller and you got to sit there for another 5 minutes, then just kind of accept that because we need to get our work done. Most people are standing around just playing stuff.
Yep.
I remember Guitar Hero 2 when it was being shown X number of years ago. I went there and the guys, there was like 2 dudes in suits standing there who must have been like retailers or something, and the guy and the PR guy there bumped them out of the way so we could play one song.
Yeah.
And they were furious. They were screaming and yelling, and they're like, dude, these guys are going to write about our game where people will read about it. You are just some dude who sits behind a desk. And
You didn't do the tour bus thing?
No, this was when 2 was down in the
Kentia Hall in the
back.
back.
Yeah, it was in Kentia
right?
Hall, and it had the giant stage.
I do remember that.
Did the PR person tell these guys off? I mean, was he like, hey?
No, he actually basically just ignored them.
Yeah.
But gave them a pretty bad look.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah. Anyway, so just be prepared for that sort of thing.
Bring really comfortable shoes.
Yeah,
It
definitely.
wouldn't be a bad idea to pack like aspirin, ibuprofen, or something like that. Your feet are going to hurt no matter what you wear.
Your feet will kill you.
So yeah, do that.
you
And
go.
I think the whole scoping things out. Look at the floor plan. Check out what booths you want to go to.
And do remember that you have 3 days.
Yes.
So-
and as the days go on, the crowd starts to dissipate a little bit. So
Yeah.
by the 3rd day, things are usually pretty. I mean, everyone's The Walking Dead. We've all gone to like 2 days worth
Yeah.
of parties and stuff. So no one's going to be in a very good mood. But that also means there's not going to be a lot of people there.
Yeah.
So.
There you
I've
go.
created an advanced ring out
Holy
of paper.
Christmas.
Crazy. We'll say a little stabber. Hughes81 says, what are your thoughts on a single console future? He personally doesn't like the idea since competition is what drives the industry to make bigger and better games.
Didn't we answer this question recently?
I don't remember.
I think we did.
I didn't.
And
Maybe
my
it was when I wasn't
answer
here.
was that you're crazy, man. No, it's fine.
I don't know. So there's 2 elements to this. One is the hardware, and if there is only one piece of hardware, it's they're not going to rush to advance it or whatever.
Right.
They'll wait a bit longer. Which we're getting to the point like say that the single console that comes out is the PS4, Xbox 720, like meld or whatever. That thing will the games on that are going to look amazing.
Yeah.
And it won't be. I don't think we're going to be to the point where we're like saying this looks like crap. We need new software. I think that would be okay. The software, though, I think could take a major hit but on a small. It would be a small number of titles that you would see kind of those things fade away, but it would be major things. Like one reason that Team Ico can do whatever they want is because those games, even if they don't sell as much as Halo, are like a huge thing to show that the PS3 has awesome artistic games, right? Mm-hmm. And if there's one console and nobody cares about selling the console because everybody has it, people would be much more reluctant to fund that kind of thing. A much tighter schedule, I don't know that you'd be allowed to be able to do something like that. So I think games like that would be hurting. But anyway,
Yeah, it would completely change the way publishers approach their stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So if they wouldn't be able to spread the load. They wouldn't be able to concentrate on the specific merits of a certain type of hardware.
Yeah.
Be it Wii or DS or PSP or whatever it is.
Wii has merits. Oh, it's a
Oh,
joke.
Oh,
It's
man.
a joke.
oh
Zing!
man, snap.
Oh, it's all fun.
Wah, bah, bah.
Speaking of the Wii, Hugh Tendo writes in.
Hey, Nintendo.
Says, what are the chances of an English version of Yakuza 3 being announced at E3?
Minimal at best. Sega's just not so keen on bringing some stuff over, it seems like.
I don't know. I was going to say it would be fairly likely, but I don't know. We'll see.
You think so?
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, they're still cranking out those games. They just announced that there's going to be another one that they're working on right now for Japan.
Yeah.
So,
What?
People-
You're making a 4th one now?
It's not Kenzan 2. It's not the feudal Japanese one, and it's not a continuation. It's not Yakuza 4. It's just another Yakuza game. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But there definitely is a lot of interest here, though.
Hell
So-
yes, absolutely. Are you kidding me?
and if all it is translation,
Well,
then
that's what they did with the second one. The second PS2 game was they just kept it subtitle, which is the perfect
Yep.
way to do it. I mean, the game takes place in Japan. Leave it like that, But I don't know.
there you go.
Poor Valkyria did not do too well over here.
Yeah.
So
What a crime.
Yes.
Total
That was
crime.
That was my game of the year last year.
Tyler Durden, 1999, writes in. He says, "Do you think that if the PSP Go rumors are true and that it has no UMD drive, will the online store of older PSP games that new adopters wouldn't get a chance to play otherwise, or does that just make too much sense for Sony?"
I didn't understand the question.
So basically, what happens is if nobody had bought a PSP before, or hell, let's say you go buy the PSP Go, you trade in your old system, you didn't have it before, whatever. How are you going to play Chains of Olympus, for example?
Oh, gotcha.
Right.
Well,
We hope
if
they're
the rumors
released.
are true, and this thing is coming out, then all of Sony's first-party stuff will be available on that store.
Yeah.
So, in that event, you'll be okay. And if the rumors are true, the plan is to get as many publishers on board as possible, because for them, it actually is a very good thing. They can sell directly to consumers, and there is
Basically,
they download. Yeah, it's going straight to the customers.
Yeah. So you cut the middleman out of it.
Exactly, and you hopefully cut down on piracy.
Yep.
You can actually track how many copies are sold. So yes, if the rumors are true, I don't think you're going to have much of an issue with that.
Yeah. And then the last question that I have here is somebody, James writes in, he says, he has a question for Greg. He's looking forward to Infamous. He was curious about something. He said, is there kind of some kind of a melee attack other than punching, like making electricity blades or some sort of thing like that? And when can we expect the review for the game? Again, the review will be out before the game ships. I'll just say it's relatively soon. But it's not this week.
In the coming weeks.
Yeah, in the coming weeks. And no, there's not really any other attack. You can kick people.
Yeah, you can do like a cool little flash kick kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you have things that you do as your combo, your melee combo, but you
Right.
don't have a cool energy
But yeah, there's
blade
no
or
like
anything
Wolverine claws that come out and steps, which would be rad.
That'd be super cool.
But
I would prefer like
Yeah.
a lightning sword or a lightning staff. Of
Nah,
some-
man, gotta have claws.
No, Wolverine does the claws. I'm done with the claws, man. I saw that movie. That movie finished me with claws.
there we go. That's all the mail that I have.
Wow.
Ryan, I believe that you have a message from Beast. The Beast is back.
The Beast is back in town.
Oh no, wait,
Yeah, I
no.
know. Sorry. So, once again, the Community Challenge update from Beast786. World War III is back.
Oh,
So, if you listeners are
schnappers.
not caught up yet, basically the lobby in the IGN boards has competitions, and the World War III competition basically sets two different groups. The USA versus the entire world, and they compete in a series of gaming challenges in order to take over. It's sort of like a gaming version of Risk.
I like it.
And this week's test was in Killzone 2, and the USA was the ISA scums versus the rest of the world is the Hellgast. And there were 4 games of Warzone, for Antarctica. Solomon Market. I'm sorry. Okay. I see what he's doing. He's naming the levels that they played on. Anyway, for the Battle for Antarctica, the USA won. The Battle for Australia, the USA won. The Battle for Africa, the USA won. And the Battle for all of Asia,
Holy
the
Christmas.
USA won. So the USA won 4 different large territories, and the most valuable players were Danubinator and MP Nubino. Both with
Noobs all
noobs in their
around.
name. And thank you very much, Beast. Congratulations to the MVPs and the USA for winning quite a fair bit of territory there.
There we go. Let's see. I think PSN hit of the week. Do you guys have anybody you want to specifically call out?
No one's bugged me out.
No. However, someone complained recently that they want us to pick more actual PSN names as opposed to
here's a
make them
PSN
up.
name. Tyler Durden, 1999.
Bam.
There you go.
Let's hit him.
Boom.
Wait, hold on.
What?
I'm pretty sure that he was on the show. He would say, "I want you to hit me as hard as you can." Damn! Look at that right there. That's my favorite movie of all time, by the way.
Witty PSN hit confirmed.
Is it now?
Yeah, Fight Club's my favorite movie.
No.
So stylish. Whatever. It's it's just complete.
It's in the line. It's in yeah.
Yeah, and I love David Fincher, but so anyway, so Tyler Durden, 1999. There you go. PSN hit TYLERDURDEN. And that's it. So, there you go.
Very good.
Did you read the book?
Congratulations, Mr. Durden.
No, I did not read the book. Although I have read a couple of his other books.
Chuck
but-
Palahniuk's, yeah. Choke and
I've read Survivor.
Did you
which
read
is pretty
Lullaby?
crazy. No, I have not.
it's good.
Here's a little point that's going to make you all throw your hot chocolates and waters at me.
What's that?
I have never actually seen all of Fight Club from start to finish.
How is that
I've only seen
possible?
parts. I don't know how that's possible.
Have you seen the end of it?
I've seen
Yeah.
the ending.
Son of a-
so
I
you
know I know all the plot twists. I've
Man.
seen the beginning of it. I just don't think I've seen like
Is there a
bunch of
reason, or you
chunks.
just happen to be catching parts
it's
of it?
just I've been like I catch it in passing and I never actually like have sat down to watch it from
All right.
start to finish.
Yeah, you should sit down and watch
Yeah.
it. It's
That's the
That's
problem.
actually-
That's the problem, though, is now that I know the like huge cool twist, I feel like I can't appreciate the surprise as much.
Well, I knew it beforehand. There's some jackass on a forum
Aw.
kind of put a paragraph on someplace and like highlighted or capitalized words that when you read only those words, it gave
figured
you.
it out.
And I was like, oh, damn it. But it's still awesome, even knowing that.
Yeah, I think
So,
the movie holds up really, really well.
okay,
Yeah, so go watch it.
I will go watch
That
it.
was actually one of the first really nice like well done studio DVDs that I saw. Like it wasn't
yeah.
done by Criterion. It was just like
You know what's
put
rad,
out
too?
by the studio, and it was
You know
like
what's rad
tons of stuff.
Is on that like the special edition one with like the paper packages
Yep,
like that.
yep.
It has quotes from reviews inside, both negative and positive.
Oh,
there's
sweet.
there's one from Roger Ebert, which I forget what it says. I think it's from Roger Ebert, but it basically calls it a giant pile of trash. And like but there's some there like this movie's great, and so it's both of them, and they're just like take this as you will. So anyway, I think it's pretty cool.
Very cool. You know what was not such a great movie?
What's that?
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh man,
Is it bad?
I
Totally
didn't
missed
see
out
it.
on it. Yeah,
I was out of town.
Oh, it is not the particular
That
best
was-
movie at all.
that's a shame.
Yeah, it is
I'm
a
still
shame.
gonna go see it
Oh yeah, sure.
because I
You know-
like Wolvie.
You know what I did do actually? I'll mention this real fast. Is I twittered this, and so a couple people saw this. But on my flight
tweet.
back, I flew Southwest, which sucks for families. But anyway, on my flight back, I was one of the 4 Southwest planes with the Wi-Fi test.
Oh,
So
sweet.
I got to use Wi-Fi on the plane.
Excellent.
Yeah, and it actually works
How,
fine. I mean,
speedy?
It's not amazingly fast, but it's like I was using my iPhone with it. I didn't bring my laptop, but I would equate it to be like lowest tier DSL.
DSL? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I
No,
mean,
so
it's
not bad.
totally fine. Checking email, just
Yeah.
casually browsing the web. 100% fine. Like it was awesome. It helped me kill a ton of time, and
It helped me kill everyone.
I was getting cancer from it. But no, that was very cool.
Yeah,
So,
I can't wait until they finally roll that out on all
the
planes.
thing is, it was free because it was a test.
Yeah.
So I mean, and if they, I hope when you fly that they correctly charge you based on time, but not charge you like $10 an hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if it's a cross country flight, it's like $12 for the whole flight because you're gonna get 6 hours of it.
Yeah.
Or if it's only to LA, it's like $5.
I wonder if
you
they'll
know?
charge for bandwidth, like per kilobyte.
I think that's too much tracking.
That's
But
probably
we'll
true.
see. But anyway, it was very cool. I hope it's all free, but
Me too, but I seriously doubt it.
Yeah.
If
Anyway.
they can't charge, they will.
I think that brings us to the end of the show. Does anybody have anything to add? Ryan, you got anything?
I don't have any programming notes, and I also have the sort of frightening realization that I didn't even think about what song to sing today.
Oh,
That
no.
means you're gonna freestyle. I'll use an app here and then freestyle for you. Now let me do a little house cleaning stuff. If you have not, please go on iTunes and rate us. It's been helping us. I believe that we were featured last week at some
Excellent.
point, which is
Yes.
very good.
You are spreading the Beyond love to
Yes.
other people
So it definitely is helping. So please go on there and rate us.
by rating to us,
If you
or
want to
rating
send
us.
If you want to send us questions to get answered in the Maelstrom segment, you can either go on to our message boards and look for the post that Ryan makes. That's actually preferred because it's easier for me to copy and paste stuff out of there.
Much easier.
Or you can write us at beyond@ign.com. Send stuff in there.
Yep.
Basically, that gets filled with spam, which is why it's easier for the forum. But anyway, IGN is on Twitter. You can follow us at IGN.com. I have a Twitter feed. It's Chris_Roper. You can follow either one of us. And, yep, that's about the end of that part. Ryan, what kind of music would you like to play? I got all kinds of apps here on the phone, and I'll bust out something that's fitting for you. I can play piano. I can find what do I got?
I'm actually, you know what I'd like to do today?
Huh.
Because I've done a lot of editing today for the podcast, I feel like it's not going to bother me too much if I do some more editing. So I'm going to do an extremely hardcore freestyle rap with one of you guys doing a beat underneath me.
Whoa!
How about that?
Okay, we can do that. Hold on. You should do the beat, and then I'll find a little piano or something on here to come in.
All right.
I'll use.
You can be my breakdown for the
Here we go. I'll use
for the
this one.
freestyle rap.
All right.
Sam, would you be willing to do just like kind of like a slow like beat where I can?
Okay, there we go.
Oh man! All right.
It's gonna sound like so you want to be a rock or rap superstar.
That's
or
right.
whatever that old
Cypress
song.
Hill.
Cypress Hill, is that it?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh my God, I haven't heard that song in forever.
Pretty good.
All right. Here we go.
Oh, it's tight, man. Oh, I got Sam Bishop here giving me a beat. And I've got the one and only Chris Roper doing this now. Let's hit it. Yo, we're the IGM PlayStation team. No lie, we go right from the West Coast to the East Coast. Don't die, this beat is fine. I like it like this rhyme, and we review games from day and night. It's good times. Sam Bishop, he likes to beat up bitches when he can't get reviews out and give them those stitches. He loves to drink shots at the bar tonight. We're gonna meet up with NIS. It's alright, so listen. This is the Beyond Rap. I'm not a real rapper, but that shit is whack. I love the rap. Roper knows all about it. Giving me piano flows. Don't doubt it. Come on. This is the fucking Beyond, man. Sam Bishop in the house, ladies and gentlemen. He's the motherfucker. That's going to be a lot of editing.
Yeah! Beyond!